One area of cycling that I've struggled with in the past is nutrition, and particularly what and how much I should eat on the bike to fuel my performance. This is a common query for many people new to the sport, and probably even for some experienced ones too, and that's because it can be a bit of a trial and error working out what works best for you. Now, one thing that most experts can agree on is that carbohydrates are going to be the primary fuel source, especially the harder the session gets. But how much and from what source differs from person to person. So in this video, I'm going to show you what I eat on a typical training ride. But before I do, if you haven't already, why not go ahead and subscribe to the channel. So today's training ride should be just shy of about 5 hours, yeah, it's quite a hilly one. We're heading over towards Crag Vale. So yeah, fueling on today's ride is going to be extremely important, especially with the amount of climbing that we're going to be doing. I've got 50 grams of carbohydrate in each of the bottles, and then a selection of different things to kind of take with me in my pockets. So I've got 2 of these Forde bars, each having 40 grams of carbohydrate in them. 3 of these gels, they each have 30 grams of carbohydrate. And then just a bit of an emergency, I've got these energy chews, which each serving has another additional 20 carbohydrates. So in total there, that's 310 grams of carbohydrate. So this ride should be just shy of 5 hours long, and so planning on taking in between 60 and 80 grams of carbohydrate per hour, so hopefully this should be enough. So yeah, the plan today is to kind of drink half a bottle every hour plus a bar or a gel, and that should get me to around about 60 grams of carbohydrates per hour. And yeah, got an electrolyte tablet in the bottles too, so that should hopefully keep me on top of the salt and sodium. Oh, yeah, so today's route has a lot of climbing. I think it's like 2,000 meters of climbing. 3 major climbs. This first one, don't know the name of it, and then second one is the Crag Vale. So that's like a 5-mile climb. I think it's on the average of 3%, 3.5% or something. But yeah, a long one. And then the climb up to Pecketwell, and then up onto the moorland. So yeah, which is like the other side of the climb I'm doing now. So yeah, I'm in group 1, but yeah, I'm just gonna stick at my own pace, and if I get dropped, I'm gonna drop back to group 2. Beautiful morning today, absolutely stunning. Not sure how many more of these we're gonna have. Yeah, it's a bit cold descending down from where I live to the meeting point. Definitely in a few weeks' time, might be needing some gloves. All right, I'm gonna put the camera away and actually get on with climbing. So over Crag Vale, yeah, very tough climb. Yeah, I got dropped from the group just as it turned to kind of like the false flat towards the top, and then yeah, the wind hit you, it's all exposed and stuff, and yeah, the road surface awful. Many excuses. Yeah, many excuses, but yeah, I finished probably about a minute and a half, 2 minutes down on everyone else. So 2 hours into the ride now, and I finished my first bottle, so that's 50 grams of carbohydrates. I've also had one of those Forte bars and an energy gel, so bang on 60 grams of carbohydrate per hour, which is exactly what I was trying to achieve. Now heading back towards Leeds, we should have a little bit of a tailwind on this next section. Then we head over to Hebden Bridge, and then up the climb that heads over to Pecketwell. Feeling good so far, and not holding group 1 up too much, so yeah, good ride. at the shops, but even though I still have enough water, stopped and got a little can of Coke. So yeah, that's another 27 grams of carbohydrate in that one. Yeah, so that just means I can replace that instead of having another gel. Yeah, because I'm getting a bit, well, like if you have too many gels, yeah, your stomach starts to feel a little bit icky, and with the heat today, yeah, you don't want to be feeling that at all. Just got home from a ride. Ended up doing 4 hours and 44 minutes, 123 kilometers, normalized power of 296. So yeah, felt pretty good. Felt like I was on top of my nutrition throughout. So what did I have? So in the end I had 2 bottles, both with 50 grams of carbohydrate in them, and both also had an electrolyte tablet. And then in terms of what I ate on the bike, so yeah, we have the Forde bar, so that's 40 grams, and then 2 gels, and yeah, half a pack of these chews. So what's that, another 40, that's another 100 grams, another 120 grams, so there's 220 grams of carbohydrate in the food that I took with me. And when I stopped at that shop, I also got a can of Coke, so that takes it up to 247, so around about 250 grams of carbohydrate. And also at that stop I topped up with some water, so I had another 500 ml or so of water. Yeah, so it's been a bit warm today, so making sure I'm keeping myself hydrated. And then yeah, just towards the end of the ride there, we stopped at a cafe, and I had a brownie, so that's probably another 50 grams of carbohydrate in that. Yeah, and a coffee, so getting some caffeine. In the end I had around about 300 grams of carbohydrate during the ride, so that works out around about 60 grams of carbohydrate per hour, so pretty much bang on what I was trying to do or trying to achieve with the ride. Yeah, felt pretty good. Usually on the last climb up to where I live, it's a bit of a struggle, but today didn't find it too bad, and I think that's probably purely down to keeping on top of that nutrition and the hydration as well. As I said at the beginning of this video, this was just a guide to what I eat on a typical training ride. However, it may differ from what works best for you. In fact, for me, it may even differ depending on the intensity and the length of that ride. For example, if I was doing a low intensity endurance ride, I might only be aiming for around about 30 grams of carbohydrates, and if the ride is less than 90 minutes, I might not need to fuel at all. That's it for today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.